welcome for another video of our 25 videos for 25 years. We are so happy that you're celebrating our 25th anniversary with us, and we have some great guests for you today. I'm looking forward to sharing their story with you, and we want to encourage you to go to the website and check out the videos as they appear. They will be coming along slowly, and you'll get to really soak in each one. We hope that you're enjoying them, and we are looking forward to sharing more and more of the stories of impact that Lyft has had on people's lives. And so today, I want to take a minute and just introduce a couple of ladies to you. People that I love dearly and Renette loves dearly. And I want to welcome Heather, and I want to welcome Delane. Heather um, was at our very first breakaway retreat. You remember that, Heather?
I do. I was just thinking back to all the, just the activities we did and the messy games and how we took over
Yeah.
that closet, all that fun stuff for my
So,
closet. For
so really, our contact even goes back further than that, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
You want to talk about getting involved and how that happened?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a neat God story. I was just trying to think back through how that actually happened. And I was working at camp up don't in Alabama, and it
Hmm.
was a Johnny and Friends camp, and there was a couple there, Doug and Leanne,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, you gotta, connect with Jim and Ronette." And so then we connected. Long story short, because I was doing adapted water skiing, and then somehow we connected with you guys. And then how did I come
Yeah.
down for the first camp? Do you
So what
remember?
happened was we did the Johnny and Friends camp for 2 years, and you were involved in the rec program for Johnny and Friends. And then after it became Breakaway, we invited you just to come back and be a part of the rec program again. You remember that? And
Yes, I
so
totally remember.
that's exactly how we got you guys involved, and we had so much fun back in those days, didn't we?
Yes, I mean laughter all the time.
All the time.
Yes, it was amazing. It was so
It
much
was it
fun.
was really cool, and we just loved working with you and the way God used you in those early years to help kind of craft Breakaway as it was, and even as today. I mean, your touch is all over our programming, and I remember we would sit for hours dreaming up what Breakaway was going to be like, and you were right in the middle of that, and so. We,
Yeah, we would sit up for hours up at our house up
yeah,
here and just
yeah,
laugh and talk and
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about next summer and the theme we were trying to do and the messy games we were
yeah.
going to do and all those fun things.
So that lasted for probably about 4 years, I think. Maybe not quite that long, but somewhere in that neighborhood. And we just started chatting one day, and we were up in St. Louis with you guys, and just started talking about the future and what could happen. And eventually, we just decided we were going to open up an office in St. Louis.
Yes, it was quite the feat. It was very exciting, another God move of
It
just
was.
we were in a place of just not knowing what to do. And so God provided through you guys and an opportunity to start a Lyft office in Missouri.
Yeah. And that's where our friend Delane comes in.
Hey, excuse me.
Hey.
Hey.
We're sorry you have a little uh, um, um, issue with your throat right now, so we're not going to pressure you too much, but we do. Do you remember that first time we got connected?
I do. We went out for dinner
Uh-huh.
at a restaurant, and a whole bunch of us were sitting around the table.
Yep. So we needed a director for the office, and your time was being freed up, and so we got to talking, and we decided to bring you on staff.
Loved every
Yay.
minute of it.
We were so excited because it was such a blessing to have my dear friend who I actually met at Lindenwood. This is where I
Yeah.
still, and to have her transition to being the director of Lyft was the biggest godsend. It was such a, again, God's
Yep.
timing over every step of this journey
Yeah.
um, was unbelievable. So
I
Delane,
would
we
agree.
just loved your partnership with your leadership that you brought to Lyft, and we just are so grateful for you, and became really good friends with you, just like with Heather, and just enjoying a relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And so, can you guys give me one story that you remember when you were leading Lyft, either in Missouri or Heather when you were here in Florida? Can you guys think of something that's someone that was touched or someone that was changed? Um, a story
There-
I
that
have
you,
a story, but do you want to go
oh my
ahead?
God. Hopefully I'll be able to say it. So one of the enabled people from Springfield came up to
hmm
camp, and her sons wanted to do the zip lining, and she felt peer pressure because if the boys could do it, she needed to do it. So mom decided to crawl, walk her way up
yeah,
the the tower, and she's sitting on top, and she just froze. And all she was doing was she's rocking back and forth. And she goes, "Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lordy." And she probably did this for 5 minutes. So we're trying to talk her off the ledge. And the people at the facility did a great job. And they just reassured her that everything was going to be fine. And she eventually said a prayer and jumped off and just went down. And I caught her at the end, and I'm like, "So you're ever going to do that again?" She goes, "Oh no." But the Lord
no
did
way,
answer.
man.
The Lord answered my prayer. I got down safely.
That's so fun. You know, that kind of reminds me of one of the mottos we have with Breakaway, and that's we never say no.
Yeah.
And I think that that really started Heather back in the early days, don't you? And just
Yeah.
giving people the opportunity to try anything and everything they want to try.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking when Delaney was sharing that story, just the uniqueness also of Lyft with involving the whole family. I mean, that was a
Yeah,
mom that we didn't say no to. She climbed the tower and
right,
she got up on the zip line. Her boys had the disabilities and she, wanted to try it. And I absolutely love that. I love the fact that we raise expectations and that it
yeah,
doesn't, we figure out how to modify and adapt so that
yeah,
it doesn't have to be a no and that the whole family can be
yeah.
engaged and
That's right,
enjoy that experience and share that memory for that family down the road. I just love
right.
that.
I often say that sometimes the courage of the kids um, allow the parents to be courageous.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that that's one of the cool things about Breakaway is I've just had countless of parents that say, you know, I watched my kid do this and they overcame their fear, and because of that, I can overcome my fear. I think it's
Yeah.
terrific.
Awesome.
Heather,
hmm
you got a good story for us?
Oh yeah, I got a good story. So Delane shared a story of when we did our lift camp as an overnight camp at a camp in Illinois called Camp Wartburg. And
Right.
this story is a lift camp from when we were doing our day camp, which
Yeah.
started first at
hmm
Strong Tower Ranch. You guys remember? You guys have been there. It's a ranch in Wright City, Missouri. And so this story is our first year of camp there. I think it was our first year. We again brought the a group from Springfield, Missouri called Enabled. And one of the individuals had never been to camp before. And he was a young man. He was 30 something years old and never been to camp before, always told, no, you can never do that. You can never do that. You can never do that. And our theme that year, it may have been our second year, was the Olympics. And so we had so many different activities, and every activity they got a medal for. And so we were doing different things. And one of our activities was actually to get on a horse and to ride a horse. And we had some really big, awesome, strong
Yeah.
volunteers, but it was very hard to get some of our individuals and family members up on these horses because these horses also had unique stories of trauma and different things. So anyway, so we got this young man up on this horse, and typically I remember it took three really strong guys, myself, to get him up there and get him balanced because he had spastic cerebral palsy. And so we just wanted to make sure he didn't feel like he was going to fall off. So we got him up there. We're all breathing really hard. And I think his name was Zach. Yeah. And I said, Zach, how you doing up there? And he's like, I'm doing fine. I said, how do you feel? And I'm thinking, I want the answer. I feel fine. I'm balanced. I'm good. He paused and he said something that I will never forget. He said, I feel like a king.
Whoa.
Cool.
Yeah. And so I feel like that is the gospel. Like Jesus allows
Yeah.
us to be on that horse and feel like a king. And,
Yeah.
after being told you'll never, 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 and then to sit on top of a horse and to feel the honor and the love that the Lord might have for you as a king. I just thought that was one of my most favorite memories from Lift Camp.
Yeah. I agree. Wow, that's incredible. I think that relationships have different seasons and different times in our lives, and it was really unfortunate for us that we were not able to keep the Lyft office going in St. Louis. And right before 2020, we had to go a different direction, and that was a really difficult time for all of us. I know Renette and I we hated that was happening, and we felt really bad about that. But something really cool came out of that difficult moment in our lives. And Delane, I just love for you to speak to this. A new ministry was birthed in the
Yes.
process.
So the we had talked about whether or not we needed to continue or not continue, because you were like, feel free to continue with the mission. Excuse me. And so I had spoken to some of the families, and I'm like, what do you think? What do you, where are you at? And I would say 90% of them said, let's do this. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's keep it going, because they continue to get things out of it. And they enjoyed it that much. They really felt God was in it for them, as well as everybody else. And
Hmm.
it was beautiful.
And are you guys still doing some of the same things that we did when we were doing Lyft there? Are you doing new things? What's it kind of look like today?
Well, when you keep the same programmer, it kind of
Right.
runs a little bit the same. But
You're
Right.
stuck with me.
amazing that she is. But we have modified things just a little bit, but for the most part, a lot of the same things occur.
That's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
called Harbor Unlimited, and if people want to check it out, if they're in
Yeah.
Missouri, it's
Yeah.
harborunlimited.com. We do monthly events, and we do a summer camp that's over Memorial Day weekend, and we do
Yep.
water skiing with that camp. We do some of those same ideas like you just mentioned, like raising
Right.
the expectations, whole
Yep.
family being involved, doing
Right.
recreation, and just life together. So
I think for me, there's a couple of things that really stick out in my mind about our time in St. Louis, and one was the water skiing. It was just incredible to be out there with a couple of hundred folks and watching people that could, you wouldn't think they would ever be able to get out of their chairs, and they're out there on the water and they're skiing, and that was very impactful for me. Um, and the other thing was the heat. I don't think I've ever been anywhere that was as hot as St. Louis.
and you live in Florida, right? Like
I
people
know.
yeah, people don't understand the humidity up
I
here. I think
remember I remember doing camp one year, and I was stayed in the kitchen where the air conditioning was. It was the only place on campus with air conditioning, and that's
yeah,
the only place I could go the whole week.
right. And that's why we shifted to Memorial Day weekend, to be honest with you, because it just
Yeah.
we wanted safety for our participants, so we had to kind of shift it to a little bit cooler time of year.
Yep.
But of course, in St. Louis, you never know; it could be 110 degrees in May.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a really hot year that you
And
stayed in the kitchen.
I remember not just the campers, but one year we had crew members that were just dropping like flies.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's
that was the year that it was. I think it was like 100 and something. Like
Yeah,
literally,
it
it
was
was.
really hot. It was really hot.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
those are great memories. I want to ask you guys, what can you give me? What's been the impact that Lyft has had on you personally?
You want to go?
You can go first.
Okay. I think it's giving people hope. because my sister's a kindergarten teacher, just another quick story.
Yeah.
And she ran into one of her kindergartners has significant disabilities, and then their sibling has significant disabilities. And she was telling me that the mom is just exhausted and devastated. And I don't even know this woman, but I started tearing up a little bit. And I said, "You got to have her come out. You got to have her come, because the impact on the family's lives
Mm,
is the thing that is so important to me,
mm,
because I just see the worn out parents and the
yeah.
siblings that grow up too fast, and the siblings that aren't really, don't have the attention on them as they maybe should, but the
Right.
with a disability has that. So I think the impact on the family,
Yeah.
and just involving the whole unit is something that has really changed my perspective on things,
Hmm.
um, as far as what's important in life. I mean, in life, it's like we have to envelop the whole family, because we don't just
Yeah.
live in isolation, so.
So, Delane, what's been an impact that Lyft has made on your life?
Let me tell you, there's several things. And I would say the strong faith that
Yeah.
gets these families through. That faith is
Yeah.
some days we're just like, God, why did you put me here? Why did you put me in these situations? And they come to Lyft events or harbor events, and they're like, this is why I'm here. This
Yeah.
is like the
Yeah.
best, because they know that they have support no matter what their days are.
Yeah.
And whether it's on a day that we have an event or not, they know that they can call us and say, hey, you know what, I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
And we've had so many changes occur in their lives because
Right.
of that.
Yeah.
That just is always around. And in camps, you see it every day, several times a day. Um, at our monthly events and your monthly events, you see them all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. All the time.
Yep.
That's so cool. Well, guys, I'm just so grateful that you could join me today. It's good to reminisce and to think back, and we just we Renette and I would just love to be able to go to the lake day again with you sometime and enjoy the water. It's just awesome to sit with friends and just chat and I appreciate you guys a bunch. And
Well, we love you and
We love you.
appreciate you
thank
very
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
keeping the ministry strong. And we're so
Yes.
excited to hear all the things that Florida is doing,
Yeah.
and the day grant, just so many things. It's like a God
Yeah.
answers prayers
Yeah.
for
And
the growth.
25 years worth too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful to God for what He's done. Thank you for watching our video, and I can't tell you how much I love these ladies, and look forward to seeing what God does in their ministry as they continue on and seeing what God does through Lyft. And thanks for joining us. We appreciate that.